Right.
And we are live. I am Douglas Ferguson, and today I'm with Ima. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk and have this chat with you today.
Yeah, and it's such an important topic, and one that I think has such a huge impact if the right care and intention is brought to it, and enough people are mindful of the impacts of body image. So maybe just for starters, um, share a little bit about why it's so important, and maybe even how you came to this work.
Well, the thing about it is that body image is more prevalent in our society today than most people may want to admit. It's one of those things that has gone unnoticed for a long time. And if we continues to go unaddressed, it can lead, in my opinion, to, an epidemic.
Mm.
So it starts in the mindset. It starts in the mindset. And studies have shown that there is a strong link between the our body image, our perception of ourself, our appearance, and our social and mental health. So that in itself is enough for people to pay closer attention to their own, what their body's telling them and how they're feeling and how that is impacting every aspect of their life. So for me, I struggled with body image most of my life, for different reasons. um just just had a hard time embracing the body that I'm in. Some of it was cultural because I was born and raised in a very in a culture where there are no there are no um everybody just pretty much says how they feel.
Mm.
There are no filters. And so, you know, I got that whole, wow, why are you so big? Or why are you so, and over time that started to impact my own perception of myself until I discovered ways and strategies for coping with it. And that's when I started to experience that shift in my mindset and how I viewed myself. And then that in itself starts to lead to success. So there is a connection, and there have been studies done that that mindset, that positive body image does lead to successful outcomes, because it all starts with the mindset. And the flip side as well, the negative body image leads to social and mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, etc.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
reminds me of the importance of confidence and how much confidence can impact outcomes in your life.
Mhm.
And people that you meet in everyday life will pick up on confidence and lack of confidence, and yeah, I think body image can play such a big part in that.
Yeah, absolutely, because it is that it's the unspoken signifier of your mindset and emotions. There's so much that we give off, that we may not realize, whether you're in a meeting setting and or you're just having a casual conversation with someone. And that perception of yourself, you carry it in almost every situation. And sometimes you don't know when you're giving off that negative vibe because you're just not confident in yourself,
Mm.
and your abilities and stuff like that. So that's why once I realized how much it was impacting my life and how much it was impacting others, I decided, okay, this is something I want to pursue, to make sure other people learn how to don't just not just cope with it, but how to overcome the insecurities that come out from their history with body image, with their body image. How can they leverage what they have to their best of their ability.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to abilities versus appearances, and
Hmm.
You know, this reminds me of a TikTok creator that I saw. Gosh, I might have seen this maybe a month or so ago,
Hmm.
and it was this trans man, and he started the video off saying, this is a really uncomfortable topic for me to talk about, because often, you know, most trans people have, you know, don't enjoy talking about pre-transition times. Isn't that
Right.
comfortable topic, right?
Right.
But he felt the need to talk about this because of something that he observed, and it really concerned him. And there was this notion that as a man, no one's ever mentioned to him that he's oversized or out of proportion
Right.
or the wrong body type or anything. But
Hmm.
whenever he presented as a woman or before transition, he got
Hmm.
that woman at the time, she got a lot of feedback that she was
Hmm.
overweight or that she needed to lose weight, or, you know, just negative comments and stuff, but never one after transitioning. And that's like profoundly crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's the society that we live in, and it's not just unique to America or the Western world. This is, I think it's a global pandemic in my own opinion. Um, I think it has been aggravated by certain factors, like, I mean, social media being the
Mhm.
biggest one. And in my mind, one of the things that we have seen but haven't really fully addressed, and I'm not sure how one would address it, is just the idea of how social media over time has created what I call a like or love ecosystem, which in itself has created a global popularity contest, which has over time has led to where we are today, which is a huge shift, a global shift in the behaviors towards body image. And
Mm.
that's interesting, because unfortunately the behavior shift that we're seeing is more negative than and unhealthy. And it's, if it continues, it's it's just going to kill our younger, our up and coming, kids, because right now it is prevalent in that 13 to 19 age group. And it's absolutely, and the studies show that it is more prevalent in women, to your point, than men. There, it's a significant difference, because when you have shows that portray women as objects, and you have social media, this was the other thing I found out. There is such a thing as an Instagram
Mm.
body type.
Yeah.
And of course, when I say Instagram body, most people will assume the first thing that comes to your mind is perfection. There's a certain body standard that you visualize when you say, oh, it's Instagram ready, or it's an Instagram body. People assume perfection. And that's the mindset that a lot of people have, and they're trying to measure up against, but that's not realistic, because all these social media influencers, myself included, I know how to angle the camera to get the best shot of myself,
Yep.
right?
And you know, even it's interesting the social media aspect, because you talked about the objectification of women, and you could argue that social media in general is a form of objectification. Like, so much of it is about the act of even objectifying yourself as a creator, or
Hmm.
oneself as a creator. And so much of it is about that versus about content, or about subjectivity, or meat, right?
Right.
It's so
Right.
much of it is just like, oh, this stuff that's not really thought, like deep thought or deep
Mhm.
engagement.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has its place in our society, that where it adds value. Social media has that value that it adds to society, but again, it's just what are the behaviors that we have developed the unhealthy behaviors, I have to make a conscious effort as to who I follow on social media
Yeah.
to make sure that I am not feeding my mind with standards that I'm not able to attain or that are not realistic. So there's a lot of value in having social media. It has kind of made the world a whole lot smaller. But then again, you also have to be careful how you use it and how you leverage those tools.
That's an interesting thing about this, the smaller piece. And I, because I was thinking as you were talking about how there's just such a need to think about when it is making the world smaller, what is missing and how do I feed that gap, and going out and actually seeking out folks that I can follow to to feed that need, what's actually missing. Because
Mm-hmm.
so often, it can, the algorithms can kind of get over optimized and send you stuff that's maybe more objectified and less substance.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. So, and those algorithms, I can never figure them out. Just when you think you understand it, and then, then it switches on you. But yes, it is so well curated, and developed where to learn our behaviors in a way that we ourselves don't even understand. We don't even understand ourselves to the degree that the algorithms understand us and how we learn. And so, yes, it has changed how much and those things that we prioritize, like, we probably need to relearn how to have real in-person relationships, coming out of of this digital age. Well, we're not exactly coming out of it. We're going into the metaverse. So, but yes, part of that is just having to relearn certain behaviors so that the current metaverse that we're moving into or deeper into is not going to totally negate what the good behaviors that we've developed over the years as people, as individuals.
Yeah, it's interesting. The theme for the conference this year is shifts, and you'll be speaking about this topic of body image next week at the conference. And we've even today in this 15-minute chat have already the word shift has come up several times. The need to shift mindsets around body image, but also the shifts that have happened around kind of some of the negative focus and how things may be trending in the wrong direction. So, I think a lot of it's like the shifts we need to make, and then the shifts we need to be mindful of that are happening in front of us.
Absolutely. So yes, I mean, there is this whole body positivity movement, and there's several dimensions of it. Um, some of it I subscribe to, some of it I don't, but at least we're starting to move in the right direction. And so that's why I'm happy to have the platform to be able to start that dialogue and get people on that path of a more positive perception of themselves. Because like I said, to your point, the whole confidence, studies have shown the whole confidence and development and self-esteem, it leads to successful outcomes, but it all starts with your mindset. And that mindset is very much tied into the way you perceive yourself.
So,
And
sorry to cut you off there. I'm really curious. You mentioned some of you prescribe to and some of you don't. So what components are you wary of, or what might people watch out for when they're hearing about some of the work that's out there?
well, for instance, I believe body positivity is being well and healthy, both body, soul, spirit. Whereas I think some influencers, some people out there focus only on the physical and not so much on the mental and the emotional, and the spirit as well. So I believe in a total body positivity. Some people think that, certain body sizes and everything. I think you should look more at being the healthiest version of yourself, There's no way that you can be, what, 150 pounds overweight and think that you're healthy and that's positive for you. No. In the matter of, I mean, if you go see your doctor, they're going to tell you, hey, you have heart disease and all of that. So I think, in my opinion, body positivity should be a total package. What is the healthiest version of yourself that is measured medically too, and not by the general standards, but specific for your own ethnic group and your own body type, your frame and stuff. So for instance, for me, I'm considered a plus size lady, but medically on paper, I have absolutely no health conditions. I don't have diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have any of that. But people will look at me and may assume, because of the standards that have been set in society, oh, she must at least be diabetic or something. But that's not true. I go for my medical checkups every year. And based on that, I know that this is just my body frame. I'm just a larger body frame. And as long as you're healthy and you're moving towards that positive, on that positive journey, and medically you're staying healthy, then hey, the world is yours.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind as I hear you say this is balance.
Yes.
It seems that, especially in the ancient kind of kung fu sense of the word, it's like if we have balance in our lives and we stay centered, then things tend to have a way of working themselves out.
Absolutely. It's all about finding good balance. Hence why it's the body, mind, and spirit all connected. If your mindset is messed up, it's going to affect your body, your mood, your emotions, and then obviously the outcomes of that.
Yeah, because I think it can swing both directions, right? Like if you're really, your body image is really not good. It's a negative body image, and it's got you downtrodden. That's going to have you in a bad emotional state.
Absolutely.
And if your body image is way too elevated, i.e., not centered, like you've got a big ego about your body, then you're off centered, and that's not going to be good either, right? It's going to be hard to function in the world, and it's going to lead you down some strange paths, I would say.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm sure you and I both know people who are on both sides of the spectrum. And yes, to your point, it is all about finding that balance for yourself and making sure you are constantly working towards maintaining that balance.
Well, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you today, and I'm looking forward to hearing you speak and getting to meet you in person. It's like crazy that we're all going to be connecting and doing the conference next week. I'm super excited. So looking forward to that, and so glad you were able to join me today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Doug. This was exciting, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and, leaving everyone on a positive note. So let's do this.